We need to end chain migration.
When the White House uses the term chain migration, it's meant to suggest migrants yanking a chain and pulling in all of their unskilled extended family to settle in the U.S. But that's how migration has worked in the U.S. since the country's founding. Researchers have dug up some notable examples of families reuniting after settling in the U.S. For example, Donald Trump, whose mother left Scotland to join her sister who'd already settled in the US, and whose grandfather moved from Germany at the end of the 19th century to join his sister, who'd been granted residency the year before. He spoke little English.
He had trained as a barber's apprentice, but there was no critical shortage of barbers in the US.
Such ancestral journeys are common in the administration. Vice President Mike Pence, too, wouldn't be in the U.S. were it not for what he calls chain migration. His grandfather was one of several in his family who took advantage of his siblings' U.S. residency. And then there's White House advisor Stephen Miller, one of the architects of the tough line against immigration. His great-great-grandfather was pulled into the U.S. by a non-blood relative from Belarus. Assimilation was hard for the family. Miller's great-grandmother still didn't speak English 4 years after her arrival. And that's exactly the sort of migrant Miller is seeking to prevent from arriving on U.S. shores.
So we're proposing to limit family-based migration to spouses and minor children. What will this system look at? It will look at, does the applicant speak English? Can they support themselves and their families financially? Do they have a skill that will add to the U.S. economy?
At Washington's Cato Institute, they estimate that the effect of the administration's immigration framework will lead to the largest cut in legal immigration since the 1920s, a 44% cut annually, excluding nearly 22 million people over the next 50 years. In the 20s, politicians were overt about their racism, but now, according to David Beer, there are also naked political considerations.
So I do believe there is a political motivation as well. They fear immigrants will come in and vote for Democrats, and Democrats think that the immigrants will come in and vote for their party.
It's widely accepted that the U.S., already near the bottom of OECD countries for the number of immigrants it accepts, needs immigration for its economic development and tax base as its population ages. But of course, there's nothing new about U.S. politicians scapegoating migrants even when they themselves are the descendants of poor, unskilled, non-English speaking migrants. Shihab, Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.